Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scaling Up, Crossing the Chasm. We know that the chasm exists, and this is the reason why you do have to cross it, and now we are within the process of crossing this chasm. We know that we have to select the target customer by looking at various customers and gathering data on them and capturing learning. We have to define the offer according to the selection of the customer group. And now it is also interesting to watch competition more closely. I mean, if you go into a market first as a startup and maybe you're very innovative, you might have a product that has never been there before. Like the iPod, this kind of device was new, also innovative, you might call it radical. However, people were listening to music. So in the first step, you compare your new solution to the old solutions. However, when the market develops, competitors come up. Also Airbnb compared couch surfing solutions to the Airbnb network. But now Airbnb is in the regular hotel market, so to say. So they have the old competition. And this is why you have to watch competition more closely and define your competition. Especially when you want to step into the mainstream market. Because mainstream markets, buyers will believe in your products if they can put it in perspective to the competition. And this is the main question. What is competition bringing to the table in terms of solving the problem? If you just go out of the early market with freshly developed technological product, it's unlikely that competition exists. As we said, iPod was new to the world. At least this kind of technology hasn't been in other. And there was MP3 players, but not as an iPod knit with the same functionalities. Later on, it makes sense to create competition and position yourself against them, and then you learn on the rules of the game, the rules of the playing field. Why is this important? Again, because customers have a different focus. And if you go from innovators to early adopters to early majority, or so to the majority, you have to look at their different focus in order to be able to understand it and be able to address it accordingly. And this is also by learning from competition. If you bring a new product on the market, you have a focus on technology, and the good thing is that the innovators also have a focus on technology. They are specialists, and these people are normally very skeptic. However, they are willing to give you a chance, so they're willing to give it a try for themselves to try new things. This is why they buy new products, geeky products, even if they might fail, but they like to try new technology. Still, they are skeptic. If you can convince these people, then others will follow, and these are still people who are, you can call specialists, early adopters, and those early adopters still they buy because they want to be trendsetters. They do have a focus on the product, but they would like to be the first ones. The biggest step is the step number 2, from the specialist away, from the small group of special people, from the couch surfers and Airbnb, away to the broad mass of people who do overnight stay. And there you get to the majority, the early and the late majority. And again, the early majority is very skeptic. So the Tesla 3 buyers, they are still skeptic. Is this going to work? If you look into the news, people discuss it nowadays. But this is more, they are generalists. They do have a focus on the market because they compare you with the market, meaning also the competition out there, the regular models in the Tesla example. And they would like to see the incremental progress or the bigger progress you can offer to their other solutions compared to the other products. And then if you can convince those, the skeptic ones, then everybody follows. So we will have much of supporters who do buy your product, so you tackle the entire market, so to say. Again, what's the difference? And we said that before. The early adopter is interested in a cool product, so it's a product-centric view, and the early majority has a market-centric view. This is where competition comes into play. So a product could be easy to use, elegant, and with unique functionalities, whatever. If you want to have the majority, then it's a market view on the entire competition, on old users with solid user experience, with compatibility, with standards, the product price, situation of value, fit for purpose, and so on. So if you want to win the early majority, you will have to position your product against this competition which is out there. And if you look at the iPhone development, you can try to get a feeling for that at least. And that's the evolution of Apple iPhone features. So when the original iPhone came to the market, it was nice, it was geeky, it was new, it was a smartphone, people wanted to have it. However, it lacked 3G services and GPS and picture messaging along with copy and paste. So the functionalities of other telephones was higher than the one of the iPhones. iPhones had different features, however. People focusing on technology, they loved it. They wanted to have it. It was different, it was a smartphone, and so on. People who just wanted to call on the way in the morning to work and on the way back, they needed 3G. It was more important for them than having those smartphone features, at least at the very beginning when you didn't have so many apps and so on. But Apple saw that, and Apple wanted to expand also to this customer group. So they brought the next iPhone on the market, the iPhone 3G, and it supported then 3G services and GPS. However, still missing MMS support and along with copy and paste. So still not having functionalities other telephones had. So again, but you were able to expand the user base because users who wanted 3G, who were comparing the service of getting access to the lines, so to say, they bought it then. And the iPhone 3GS then even expanded in having a nicer camera offered, MMS support, and so on, and also copy and paste. So you see that Apple developed in the regular criteria of nowadays smartphone users, during these days telephone users, and tried to catch up with what the other companies like Nokia still were offering to the customers and the advantage they were bringing to the table, and also what customers, the majority, wanted. I think the biggest step was the iPhone 4 when that came on the market, and competed actually then against other smartphone offers because others had the idea too. They saw it's necessary, but with this Retina display, with a really nice new type of display, with the frame, but also with some software. Think about the complementarities, like the supporting of FaceTime, so video calling solution. iPhone, I think they made the biggest step. Also, because then iPhone was available for multiple carriers. At first, it was only available with certain companies in various countries. Nowadays, you can actually have an iPhone from each carrier, which is also a big change to the market. And this is really when I think the inflection point was for iPhone was, so when the sales went up tremendously. And there you can see also in the Apple example how Apple started tackling a different customers probably, and then compared with competition and tried to adapt the product to the features of the competition and build a better product, augment the product, according to what competition had in order to bring over this incremental, or even not only incremental but bigger progress change to the market. And how do you do that? Actually, after identifying the competition, by taking the market-centric point of view, you can follow this four-step process by, first of all, defining your claim, your fundamental position. So you perform your elevator pitch for your solution for your first customers. Then you create the evidence. You really do see whether it works out in terms of market share, for example, third-party support, and so on. When you see it works out, and when you see that these people buy out of the right reasons, you still ask the customers, why do you buy? You can use the reason for communication. You identify and address the right communication. You do have the audience and so on. And last but not least, you wait for feedback that this really works out. But this is a four-step process which complements what we've seen before to finally cross the chasm with the right product, which you're also able to compare against competition.